Welcome to a 60-year odyssey of silicon wafers, where we trace a steady march from early lab curiosities to today's precision platforms. This slide sets the stage by showing technological milestones across decades, highlighting how innovations in materials, process, and scale have continuously enabled new devices and markets, from the 1960 seconds up to the 2020 seconds. This slide walks through how a wafer is made, starting from a single crystal ingot grown by Sokowski pulling, then diamond wire slicing into thin discs, CMP planarization, and RCA cleaning to produce a nanometer flat substrate. The diagram emphasizes that every step tunes crystal orientation and dopant profiles, because final device performance depends on extreme surface quality and uniformity. In the 1960 seconds, wafers were tiny and handled by hand, limiting integration to a few transistors and low throughput, while the 1970 seconds brought 100 mm wafers and the CMOS engine that unlocked economies of scale. That transition boosted yields, enabled early microprocessors and RAM, and set the industry on a trajectory of rapid cost reduction and wider applications. This panel highlights three broad eras: wafer scale-up and device explosion in the 80 seconds, 90 seconds, process shrink and complexity through the 90 seconds, 0 seconds that delivered billion transistor chips, and the industry transformation since the 2000s with robotics, fab specialization, and new business models driving cost per transistor down roughly 50% each node. Here we compare the current 300 mm workhorse with the stalled 450 mm initiative. The 300 mm platform enabled high-volume smartphone APUs, 5G basebands and AI GPUs using advanced processors, while 450 mm faced ROI and area scaling challenges, prompting a strategic pivot toward materials, 3D stacking, and advanced packaging, rather than a full wafer-size shift. This slide explains EUV lithography progress. Current 13.5 nanometers EUV systems print roughly 18 nanometers half-pitch features with single exposures that avoid multi-patterning. Looking ahead, 0.55 NA systems aim for 8 nanometers resolution to enable future 2 nanometers nodes. But that path requires new photoresists, advanced pellicles, and tighter wafer flatness to realize the next scaling steps. The slide contrasts silicon on insulator and alternative compound platforms. SOI inserts a buried oxide to cut parasitic capacitance by around 30% for RF and low-power logic, while materials like Seagate and GaN on-Si extend mobility and voltage headroom, enabling 5G mmWave, automotive radar, and high-voltage EV inverter applications with improved performance per watt. Advanced packaging is the focus here. Backside grinding thins wafers below 50 microns to enable chip-on-wafer and hybrid bonding, while through silicon vias and 3D stacking, create dense vertical connectivity. The visual shows how these techniques double bandwidth, reduce latency, and shrink package footprints critical for AI accelerators and modern mobile systems. This slide lays out the 300 mm foundation for modern logic and memory, a universal substrate for CPUs, GPUs, DRAM, and 3D NAND. FinFET scaling drove transistor density past 100 million transistors per square millimeter, and vertical 3D NAND stacking has kept capacity growing while improving performance per watt generation over generation. Silicon sensors and integrated MEMS convert micromachined silicon structures into accelerometers, gyros, and pressure sensors, which are then integrated with CMOS ASICs to form system-on-chip sensors. The illustration shows wafer-level packaging and explains how this integration made ubiquitous IoT sensors possible, enabling airbags, wearables, and billions of low-cost units annually. This comparison frames wide bandgap materials against silicon for power electronics. GaN and SiC handle 600 1200 volts with higher efficiency and compact size, ideal for EV inverters and fast chargers, while silicon LDMOS and IGBT modules remain cost-effective and foundry compatible for motor drives and grid converters, so choice depends on voltage and economics. The solar-focused slide traces furnace and ingot growth methods like Sokralski and directional solidification, then diamond wire slicing that reduces kerf loss to under 40 microns and enables very thin cells. Those manufacturing gains are pushing cell efficiencies toward 23% and supporting terawatt-scale deployment that cuts levelized cost of electricity in sunny regions. Looking towards 7 angstrom gate lengths and trillion transistor chips by 2030, this slide covers advanced transistor concepts like CFET and vertical nanoribbons, plus 2D channel materials such as MOS2 for ultra-low power. It also highlights system-level enablers like backside power delivery, buried rails, and thermal budgets required to host trillion transistor platforms. This chart explains why 450mm adoption stalled. Technical feasibility exists, but unit costs and break-even volumes are prohibitive, typically requiring more than 250,000 wafer starts per month. As a result, the industry is choosing alternative paths, consortia, tool enhancement, chiplet strategies, and advanced packaging to raise die output without full-scale retooling. The sustainability roadmap outlines multiple levers to cut wafer CO2. Low-carbon polysilicon, kerf recycling, and chemical reclaim reduce emissions per wafer by about 40%, while product reclaim and end-of-life substrate reuse extend value. Fab-level measures like renewable energy and heat recovery aim to reach net zero Scope 1 through 3 emissions by 2040. This slide makes the strategic case. Wafer scale and quality evolved from a 1-inch lab curiosity to today's 300mm precision platform, and that evolution is the economic engine behind massive transistor cost reduction. Wafer innovation underpins Moore's law and is essential for future compute, advanced sensing, and sustainable energy systems across industries. Future growth drivers are summarized here. Lithography advances beyond EUV and high-NA systems. Material innovation with new substrates and quantum materials. 3D hetero, integration and chiplet stacking, and sustainability with green chemistry and circular economy practices. Investors and engineers should prioritize substrate co-design, supply chain resilience, and post-CMOS opportunities. The final slide emphasizes cross-layer collaboration across physicists, chemists, equipment makers, and system architects, linking wafer, device, and application layers. The graphic shows how coordinated work across these layers can extend silicon leadership, deliver angstrom-scale devices, and strengthen semiconductor sovereignty for future strategic outcomes.